'Tis the season for holiday joy, and with Christmas approaching, we gather around to watch our favorite Christmas movies and do all of our Christmas shopping, including some of my favorites like Rudolph, A Christmas Story, and The Polar Express. However, something's been itching at my nips lately, and it's a fella named Jack Frost. Originally a story of whimsical mischief, Jack Frost is a staple to Christmas with a nearly 200-year history and taking many forms. And from storybook to songs to movies, the rendition of Jack Frost has varied significantly from time to time. But what if Jack Frost was, let's say, evil? And we get an evil Christmas.
Oh god, that sucked, that fucking.
Pull out your stockings, kids!
Hi, Kiwi. This year, I'm wishing you all a wonderful time and a killer Christmas. As we find out what's up with Jack, as he... let me check my notes. Turns into a supernatural snowman who goes on a killing spree. This was not the one I remember as a kid. From beginning to end, this movie was a nightmare. And I loved it, because it was so bad. The characters are stupid, the kills are silly, and the story is full of cliche one-liners. But first, let me tell you the story about Jack Frost. Okay, never mind, looks like these two are gonna handle it. Our movie begins with one of the worst narrations ever. The kid sounds like me if I did a child's voice.
Uncle Henry?
Oh god, that almost gave me a frickin' aneurysm. It's awful, but damn it, we need to set a story, and this is what we've got. Our narrator begins telling a story about a man named Jack Frost, a bad man who killed people and stabbed their faces and smashed their brains till they were runny. All the good stuff. And never was he caught, killing dozens of victims, making him one of the most prolific serial killers ever. This is a strange Christmas movie. We learn that the lore around Jack Frost is that of elusiveness and being a sneaky killer, going from state to state, finding victims to kill and presumably cannibalize. But although he seemed ghost-like in his ability to evade the police, Jack done messed up, and soon he started to bake pies at his work, with body parts of his victims included, thus alerting the police to his location and eventual capture. Following his trial and crazy rantings, we find our villain being transported to his execution spot, just outside of the small town Snowminton. Snowminton is a fictional location, and it's all too familiar to small towns around me with just a few hundred people, where everyone knows each other and so many people are way too crazy. This is also the location where Jack Frost was captured by Sheriff Tyler, who became the lucky unsung hero, who unfortunately still suffers from nightmares about Jack Frost. Don't think about him too much, Sheriff. He's set to die at midnight. Jack is being transported across the state by these three idiots of the state executional facility.
Shut the hell up.
It wasn't nice. While driving in a whiteout blizzard, two of the cops discuss Jack being caught by the bumbling sheriff who took all the glory from the FBI. But it's a bit too quiet in the back of the truck. Jack is something off. And like that, Jack has gotten out of his cuffs. I'm sure he could go for a cup of eggnog right about now. I bet the guy driving down the wrong way in the same lane has a cup you could drink.
Driving the wrong way.
With a shot of pure cinema, the two vehicles collide with a delicate clink and go flying through the air, flipping and rolling multiple times. As the car is launched in the air, it crashes into a container full of genetically altered acidic solution. Jack jumps from the back of the truck just in time, able to survive the crash. But that's not the same for these two, as they're dead. Oh shit, never mind. This guy's still alive.
He's to your right!
And it looks like Deep Fried Jack is off the menu. Oh god. Never mind, Jack Frost, more like Jack Broth. Jack gets sprayed with the acid, melting him into the snow, before his blood becomes infused with the crystalline structure of the frozen H2O, creating a monster that won't stop its killing spree this Christmas. I love the intro to this movie. Besides the narration part, I love the intro to this movie. It's funny, it sets up the villain to be pretty cringe, but, you know, pretty evil. It gives you the feeling of this being a terrible, but somewhat enjoyable movie. With Jack Frost escaping, we meet the man who apprehended the serial killer, Sheriff Tyler, and his wife Annie, and their son Ryan. Tyler has been worried for weeks about Jack Frost and his execution, unable to sleep most nights, but his wife reassures him that Frost is gone for good. Midnight strikes, and their car approaches the crash site, only to be moved along by other authorities. Don't worry, Sheriff. FBI agent Andrew Santino has us covered. I mean Agent Manners. I hope he's not hiding anything sinister from us. Back at the sheriff's house, Ryan asks his father who Jack Frost is, but that's nothing a kid needs to know. Instead, he should know how to cook oatmeal because This looks like shit. Come on, Ryan, you know your dad's gonna throw this away in the trash when he gets to work. But first, the sheriff needs to meet our victims. I mean, some of the townfolk. And they're over at the snowman building competition. Welcome the Metzner family. And boyfriend Tommy. This family sucks. The father is an overbearing dick. The mom is a ditz. The son Billy is a bully. And their daughter, played by Shannon Elizabeth.
$1.
Oh, get away from me, you bum!
Yes, that Shannon Elizabeth ends up wanting to have sex at the crime scene of where her brother gets decapitated. This same night, he was murdered. So whoever wrote this it was really weird. Just don't take any ice baths tonight. After seeing the townfolk and the local business owner, Paul Davrow, Sheriff Tyler heads to the police station. And this town has a small police station, consisting of what seems to only be Sheriff Tyler, 2 of his deputies, and the secretary at the station. Who's looking fine this morning? Got any good news for us? Oh shit. Who died? It's Old Man Harper. In a scene and shot that I love with this up-close view of the frozen body, the deputies and sheriff discuss what details they have, or I should say don't have. No tracks, no footprints, no evidence. The sheriff becomes worried, thinking that Jack Frost may have had something to do with this. Sam calls up Agent Manners over at the FBI, who reassures him that Jack Frost has died, putting an end to his fears. But if you thought it was over, just you wait.
It started.
It turns out the FBI is working with a top-secret company that created the genetic altering acid, alongside Agent Stone, a representative of the company. But this science project got too crazy, and this experiment needs to come to an end as the doctor and sheriff remain bewildered and unable to solve Old Man Harper's death. But the cops better get their shit in order, because the townfolk are ready to have their head. And speaking of head, let's go check on the bully,
Billy.
and Sheriff Tyler's son Ryan. After making some of the worst snowman cookies ever, Ryan is told by his mom to head outside and finish the snowman that he started to build.
Did he?
But this kid is too stupid, and he needs a reference for what a snowman looks like, as he puts the coal and carrots on his face. As he's finishing the snowman, teeth begin to grow, made out of ice, and the body of Jack Frost is complete. And let me tell you, this looks like crap throughout the whole movie. You'd think maybe a bit of the budget could go towards the costume a little bit more, but who cares? I mean, it doesn't have to look like a really crappy Christmas decoration, but whatever. Billy and a group of his friends show up, forcing Ryan out of the way so they can have a sled race. But a bit of backtalk from Ryan is enough to piss off Billy, as he smashes the head of the snowman off. Billy continues to berate Ryan, and his friends start to slide down the hill behind them, speeding up with their freshly sharpened sled blades. Just then, as the sledders approach, the snowman tenses up and swings its arm out, knocking Billy to the ground, into the path of the snow sledders, where his head is struck and flung through the air, decapitating and killing Billy. His body is taken off, and his family is in distress, and the patriarch of the Metzner family, Jake, is adamant that the sheriff's son is the killer of not only Billy, but also Old Man Harper. He storms off back to his home, and Sheriff Tyler and his wife console their son, as he repeatedly claims the snowman was the one who pushed and killed Billy. With everyone jumping in on edge, I think it's best for Mr. Metzner to go smoke a pipe and cool down a bit. While outside, a grumble comes from the all too terrible looking snowman that has reappeared now in front of their house. Mr. Metzner believes it's Sheriff Tyler coming to apologize, but without him around, Metzner becomes paranoid and grabs an axe to investigate. Unaware it's the snowman who's bloodthirsty, Mr. Metzner gets attacked, having the axe shoved down his throat, followed by another cheesy one-liner from Jack Frost.
I only axed you for a smoke.
Back inside, Mrs. Metzner is finishing decorating the Christmas tree before spotting a puddle on the ground. Ashamed that her husband keeps leaving a mess. But don't you blame your husband— I'm so high right now. But don't you blame your husband for the mess.
'Cause you got a killer snowman right behind ya.
And in one of the funniest kill scenes I've seen in a while, I honestly couldn't stop laughing when this lady was getting her head bashed into the light bulbs. It's something about it. It was just really funny. I think it's because you can clearly tell that it's a doll and someone wearing like a big white oven mitt. Jack takes her body and strings it up to the Christmas tree, leaving the star atop of her head like the angel on top of the tree. Shortly after killing her, Old Man Paul comes in to drop off a bag of salt, only to be terrified of the monster in front of him, before running off into the cold and deadly night. Jack Frost disappears, and the cops show up to the Metzner house to find the dead bodies of Jake and Sally, leaving Jill, their daughter, without a family. And how old is she, deputy? Make sure to note that for the future bathtub scene.
She's only 18.
That's good to know. Now it won't be so creepy when she gets, by the snowman and then killed Sheriff Tyler heads back to the police station, where Agent Manners and Stone are there to relieve him of the case, saying that they have a suspect in mind, but refuse to tell him that it's Jack Frost. They head to the crime scene, where Agent Stone tells Manners that the footprints left by the killer has a modified genetic structure, meaning it can change from solid to liquid to gas, meaning that Jack Frost is able to melt and reform at any time he wants, giving him the ability to sneak in anywhere and escape from anything. Sheriff Tyler and the doctor discuss their thoughts on what's going on, but the case isn't in his department's hands anymore, as Agent Manners orders a curfew on the town, and for a task force from the FBI to come into town that night to catch this deranged killer. At the town center, Sheriff Tyler gives the news to everyone about the curfew, and although people react poorly, it's not as bad as it could be. Bunch of pussies. Anyways, outside, old man Paul Davrow is screaming about the killer snowman, and he begins to destroy everyone's hard work. Damn it, Paul, the fuck are you doing? With Paul freaking out, everyone rushes outside, before Agent Manners punches him in the face, knocking him to the ground, before he's carted away to the jail. Curious of what Paul was freaking out about, Sheriff Tyler orders a deputy to go check out the situation. Unfortunately, there's a crossing guard, and he's not moving. He's melting! And now he's reversing! And now he's crushing the head of the deputy with a car tire. Great. And while his head is getting crushed, it looks like these two lovebirds are gonna get a bit in over their head. Jill and Tommy sneak into Sheriff Tyler's house, and while Tommy is nervous, he can't turn down Jill's advances. And in a hilarious scene, these two strip down all 20 layers of winter clothing. But are you ready, Tommy?
Yes, if I was any more ready, I'd explode.
Well, that's great. Why don't you pour some champagne for us? But if you add ice, I will kill you. A snowball hits the kitchen window, scaring Tommy, thinking it may be Sheriff Tyler. Tommy hides on the floor, grabbing an ice pick, and opens the back door to confront whoever, or whatever, may be outside. But don't open the door for too long, you'll catch a cold. And then Tommy gets punched right in the face by, you guessed it, Jack Frost. With another, guess what, cheesy one-liner. Tommy is unable to do anything to hurt or damage Frost, and each stab with his ice pick just pisses him off more, until the killer snowman raises his arm and shoots out two icicles, killing Tommy with a headshot. And again, I'm gonna say this costume is awful. Upstairs, Jill is getting ready for date night, unaware that Tommy is a scared coxicle downstairs. And just to note, Jill and Tommy are literally gonna have date night in someone else's house. The house where her brother was murdered earlier that day. And she's begging for a log fire and a bottle of wine. Plus, she's literally using the Tyler stuff to get ready. Their hairdryer, shampoo, soap. What's the deal with that? Yeah, in a small town, you know your neighbors, and I've been in my neighbors' houses plenty of times, but I don't go in there and use their shower when they're gone. And someone just got murdered at their house. It's ungodly. Anyways, upstairs, Jill gets into the bathtub for your typical and uncomfortable partial nudity scene in a bad horror movie. As she's using the fancy soaps and lotions that she's stealing, by the way, Jack Frost enters the bathroom. In his liquid form, his cold body enters the water, causing Jill to freak out about the temperature change. But this ain't Tommy pulling a silly prank on you, Jill. It's Jack motherfucking Frost. Frost turns the water in the tub to a body of snow, entrapping Jill within his grip. He begins to repeatedly bash her head against the wall, until she drops to the bathroom floor, dead, with really cheap and bad-looking blood coming out of her mouth. She still looks alive to me.
He's still alive! He's still alive!
Back at the police station, Manners hears word that a snowstorm will be blocking off his backup from arriving, so they're on their own. Agent Stone tells both of them that no conventional weapons can kill this thing, making Tyler even more wary and curious as to what the hell is really going on, and why the FBI won't tell him anything about this suspect. But before any information can get spilled, the cop car of the killed deputy pulls up to the station. The group goes out to meet him, but find nothing but soaking wet seats and an empty cop car. Next to the car, lying on the ground in a conspicuous pile of snow, is Mr. Metzner's scarf. Marla grabs the scarf, thinking nothing of it. But guess who's back? It's Jack. Get who's back? It's Jack. Agent Manners blows the snowman's head off, only for him to reattach it just moments later, sending everyone rushing inside in a state of panic. As they lock the doors behind them, Sheriff Tyler pushes Manners with the question, who, or should I say, what, are they fighting? It's Jack Frost.
Jack Frost.
No, Jack Frost died.
That's what I'm saying.
Jack Frost changed.
Sheriff Tyler is bewildered, unable to accept that Jack is still alive. But remember, Sheriff Tyler, Jack Frost will find a way.
I'll find a way!
See, I told you. He even wrote it down all nice and serial killer-like for you. Unable to kill Jack Frost, the group runs off as Sheriff Tyler stays back and uses a hairdryer to fend off the snowman. It looks like heat is the only thing going to melt away their problems. And with this information in mind, the four of them make a plan to blow up the jail with Jack Frost in it. All of them are on board with the plan except for Agent Stone, who wants to save the snowman for science experiments. But nobody has time for that. Manners, hit this bitch! With the aerosol cans spraying flammable fumes everywhere, they realize the window to escape is locked, with the keys being attached to the door that Jack Frost is melting himself through. Carefully, Tyler grabs the keys, only to be attacked before breaking away and saving Old Man Paul as one by one, they all make it out the window, before blowing the police station to smithereens. But through the fire and flames, Jack Frost carries on, and he emerges from the rubble as a deformed mess that looks like a dude hopping around in a papier-mâché snowman. The townspeople freak out and rush inside, except for this guy. He's getting marshmallows to toast up. Yummy! Everyone barricading themselves inside the town center. Tyler, Manners, and Stone step aside, where Sheriff Tyler demands answers from Stone about what monstrosity he created. In essence, Jack Frost was sprayed with an acid created by a top-secret research facility that was able to fuse his DNA and his soul with the snow, therefore proving the soul exists and that humans could be able to survive a global holocaust by transferring our souls to various objects to be able to survive, or something like that. With one last plan to kill Jack Frost, the townspeople head outside to make a last stand in an attempt to melt him in the boiler in the basement. Standing outside, a rumble begins to shake the ground, and in comes Deep Fried Jack rolling down the hills as a massive snowball, nearly killing everyone as he breaks through the front doors.
You left the 7-10 split.
But Jack sucks at bowling and left a 7-10 split. He charges at everyone, but goddamn, he's getting a blowjob. I mean, with hair dryers, that type of blowjob, you weirdo. I've been informed by my ghostwriter, who's also me, that the joke sucked, literally. With the Tylers and the rest of the townspeople using hair dryers to fend off Jack, they're able to push him back and drive him into the boiler, where with a final goodbye cross from the priest, the boiler is shut, and Jack is melted once again, screaming in agonizing pain. Congratulations, Sheriff!
We iced him.
This guy's an idiot. He's on fire, he's not on ice. I've been informed by my ghostwriter again that,
I'm an idiot.
Anyways, everyone starts to file out of the basement, all except Agent Manners and Stone, who try to make the best of the situation. But there's just one problem. Jack Frost is still alive, and he chomps Agent Manners' face off, growing these huge sharpened icicles for teeth that we got a sneak peek of when Ryan was first making the snowman. And with another cheesy dialogue line, Jack Frost sets its eyes, well, the coal, I guess, on Agent Stone. But even with his begging, Stone isn't safe. This scene with Stone's death is both really cool and then really lame at the same time. Agent Stone steps outside. His neck begins to bulge, his skin frostbitten and shredded, and he throws up the carrot and other parts of Jack Frost. And now it gets terrible as he starts to throw up all the snow, because you can clearly tell that it's a tube on the side of his mouth as he's throwing up, and it just becomes uneven, and you can see it like coming through his lip and everything like that. So it's, yeah. Overall though, the neck bulging and all that was probably the coolest scene in the movie, maybe besides the icicles going through Tommy's head and his brains pulsating. That was pretty interesting. Now trapped in their car, Sheriff Tyler and his son face the killer without any weapons or any possible way to kill him. There's just one thing. I'm kinda hungry and want a little snack. How about those oats that Ryan made you earlier? Holy shit, Ryan, what'd you put in those oats?
Antifreeze.
Finally finding out his weakness, Sheriff Tyler sends his son with Paul Davrow to fill up his truck bed with gallons of antifreeze, as he takes off to distract Jack and lure him away to the nearby motel. Inside the motel, we hear a few patrons make a couple funny comments. I think we all know what's going on in here.
It's my husband.
Lurking around, waiting for Jack to arrive, Sheriff Tyler gets ambushed by Frost as he overpowers him, forming an icicle from his belly, penetrating Sheriff Tyler in the chest, killing him. But just hold on one moment, backup has arrived. Sheriff Tyler grabs hold of Jack and crashes through the second floor window, falling backwards into the bed of the truck, completely soaking the two of them in antifreeze. Jack's screams begin to bellow out, and Sheriff Tyler becomes a madman, ripping apart the snowy flesh of Jack Frost until he is completely disintegrated, melted, and defeated this cold and dreadful night. And with the blessing of the priest, the antifreeze is rebottled and buried outside of town as a Jack Frost sung rendition of Silent Night plays. The FBI backup Manners talked about the night before has finally showed up, just a bit too late, as this unsung hero, the bumbling fool who captured Jack Frost the first time around, is the same hero who finally put the monster in the dirt, or so you think. And yes, that is all you have to think, because I watched part of the second movie and it is awful compared to this first one. And this first one's bad enough as is, so the second one is woo! I don't want to waste a few days analyzing and writing and making a video. I could be playing video games instead. And there you have it. That's Jack Frost for all of you. This movie was a crapshoot the entire way through. The characters were cheap and easy kills. The villain was cringe and the costume design was terrible. But, you know, I'm gonna watch it next Christmas, because I really don't care. Hopefully you all enjoyed the tale of Jack Frost, or at least one of the weirder renditions of the mischievous man known as Jack. That was a little weird. Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, and follow along for more movie reviews, video game breakdowns, free music, and a lot more coming in the future. So, thank you again, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye.